Zoroastrianism, gates and thresholds, the Chinvat Bridge, beam, bar, or moral sieve. At the center of Zoroastrian soteriology is an arresting theatrical image. At death, every soul must step onto a bridge, the Chinvat, whose span is at once rainbow and razor. The bridge does not simply connect two places. It performs a moral audition. For the righteous, it opens broad and luminous. For the wicked, it narrows to a plate and becomes the place of sifting. And this is the primary threshold in Zoroastrian imagination. A single instant made decisive by a life's alignment with Asha, truth and righteousness. The bridge is a living metaphor with consistent scriptural backing, and later Pahlavi texts, above all the Wendidat and the later Bundahesan, describe the bridge's appearance changing according to the soul's worth. The Wendidat explicitly mentions the two bridge guardian dogs and the peril that awaits those who fall. The bridge, therefore, reads a moral biography at a glance. The life lived determines whether the path upward is a broad ram or song, or a narrow plank through doom. Accompanying the bridge is a distinctive psycho-spiritual figure, Daēnā, the conscious or vision. Daēnā manifests as a companion and revealer. To the good she appears as a beautiful maiden who leads the soul toward the house of song, Garo Demana. To the wicked, her aspect is hideous, and she reveals the soul's failures. A personal mirror that both guides and indicts. Treatment of Daēnā emphasizes her double role as inner revelation and as a quasi-personified savant of conduct. There are also two four-eyed dogs at the threshold, stern little border patrols of the hereafter, who figure in Wendidat prescriptions and later ritual imagination. And these animals are not comic pets. They are liminal guardians who sniff truth and falsehood and symbolize the serious communal nature of post-mortem appraisal described in the texts. Scholars have also noted that the Chinvat image sometimes overlaps with cosmic imagery. Some authors even identify the bridge with the rainbow or even the Milky Way, a visible, soaring sign that links the heavens and earth, and so suits a theology that reads moral order into cosmic form. That identification is interpretive rather than canonical, but it is useful for staging the image visually, a spectral arc that can comfort the faithful or chill the wicked. Finally, the bridge is not the end of the story, but the turning point of a juridical and eschatological sequence. Zoroastrian tradition places the Chinvat crossing within a larger economy of judgment. The judged move toward the House of Song, or the House of Lies, Druj Demana, and the cosmic narrative culminates in Rashnu, the final renovation, when evil is finally defeated and the world healed. The threshold then is a moral sieve whose grains will be reassembled in a promised future restoration. Transit and Psychopomps, Daēnā, dogs and the triad that weighs. Transit in Zoroastrian imagination is theatrical and, yet again, intimate. It is a parade of witnesses rather than a random fleeing of the soul. The moment you pass is attended by inner vision, Daēnā, liminal hounds, and a divine adjudication trio. Sharosha, obedience or escort, Mithra, covenant or witness, and Rashnu, the balancer. Together, they transform the crossing from abstract fate into an inspected, socially intelligible act, beginning with Daēnā, conscience made visible. Daēnā is at once soul companion and moral mirror. In life, she is the inward law, and after death, she manifests as a figure who either leads the soul in beauty toward the house of song, Garo Demana, or appears hideous and accusing, revealing the soul's misdeeds. She is not merely a poetic flourish, but the tradition's way of saying that character and conscience are visible in the beyond, a personalized psychopomp rather than an impersonal ledger. Next, the bridge dogs, sniffers of truth, four-eyed and grave. Right at the Chinvat, there stand the sacred dogs, described in the Inhabitants and later commentaries. The dogs have extra seeing eyes and a sacred sniff. Their role is to recognize the soul and to mark the threshold's seriousness. They are small but exacting porters of liminality, not comic mascots, but guardians whose presence signals that crossing is communal business, not private luck. Then Sharosha, Mithra, and Rashnu, the triadic procedure. Zoroastrian judgment is not a single action, but a ritual sequence enacted by a team. Sharosha acts as the faithful escort, the psychopomp who conducts and prays for the departed. Mithra serves as a witness of convents and divine order. His gaze confirms truth. And Rashnu is the divine weigher, the one who pronounces proportional justice. In iconography and text, this trio shapes the passage, escort, witness, and balance. The effect is juridical once again and ritual at once. The soul is both accompanied and audited. Now, ritual echoes among the living, how transit is socialized. Like other traditions we have already surveyed, Zoroastrianism ties afterlife procedure to living practice, purificatory rites, the precise disposal of the corpse, historically varied, exposure in dogma or sky burial, later Parsi adaptations, and intercessory prayers all participate in shaping how Daēnā appears and how the dogs and triads receive the soul. Medieval narratives, notably the Arda-Viraf voyage, dramatize the heaven-hell sequence and thus reinforce liturgical expectations in the community. So in short, procession at death is public theology made visible. If other traditions give you a ferryman, Zoroastrianism gives you a tribunal with a very moral concierge. Keep your conscience tidy, it travels with you, similar to the Egyptian mythology yet again. Court and inhabitants, Garo, Demana, and Druj, Demana, House of Song and House of Lies, where the Chinvat sifts and Daēnā shows the face of conscience. The judge are led into one of two typified dwellings, Garo Demana, house of song, for those whose life approximated Asha, which is truth and order, and Druj Demana, house of lies, for those who lived in deceit and disorder. These are not merely poetic contrasts, but canonical habitations in later Zoroastrian topography, coherent moral worlds, whose textures dramatize revolt and correction. Beginning with Garo Demana, what paradise looks like in Zoroastrian register. Garo Demana is often presented as a place of light, harmony, and communal rejoicing, cause of righteous souls, abundant food and song, and a sense of ordered felicity that mirrors the cosmic ideal of Asha. The language is communal rather than individualistic. The good are reunited with kin, and the world's music is restored. Pahlavi and later texts describe staged felicities, coarse, bright halls, that contrast with worldly disorder, and serve to reassure the living that virtue has social as well as personal consequences. Next, Druj Demana, the inner desolation of falsehoods. Druj Demana is not a caricature of eternal torment, but a carefully imagined counterworld, darkness, isolation, stench, and a sense of being perpetually misunderstood or betrayed. Its punishments are often tailored to the moral failings that brought the soul there: pride, treachery, hypocrisy, and the experiential quality is one of corrosive alienation rather than theatrical agony. Later, exegetical texts emphasize that Druj Demana's suffering is intelligible rather than arbitrary, a moral consequence shaped by one's own contrary acts. Then, Amistagan and graded outcomes, not just two boxes. Later Zoroastrian literature and popular belief introduces nuance. Amistagan functions as an intermediate or neutral zone where souls of mixed merit await a merciful outcome. Some souls undergo purification or pausing rather than immediate placement in either house. This graded topography shows the tradition's sensitivity to moral complexity. Not all lives are wholly virtuous or wholly wicked, and it aligns with the creative emphasis that runs through Zoroastrian eschatology. And again, punishment as pedagogy, reward as restoration. Across the sources, punishments are often corrective, painful experiences that expose the consequences of falsehood and invite eventual reintegration. Rewards in Garo Demana are restorative. They re-establish the social and cosmic order that the righteous help sustain. That emphasis on repair, rather than endless vindictive torments, prepares the tradition's culminating hope, the Frashokereti, the final renovation, when even the tainted world is healed and injustice is finally and cosmically rectified. So, if some afterlife shall only reward or only punishment, Zoroastrianism sells a moral dramaturgy. Repair is the aim, not sadism. Sing well, live honestly, the chorus will remember you. Judgment, reward, and cultural function. Rashnu scales Mithra's witness, and the final repair. The Zoroastrian afterlife is strikingly theoretical and hope-filled at once. Judgment is procedurally exact, The deeds of a life await, and yet history itself is promised a final cure, Rashnu. In practical terms, that means a ritual cum legal sequence. The soul is escorted, its conscious Daēnā revealed, its life read, and its balance pronounced. In cosmic terms, the tradition insists that evil will not have the last word. There will be ultimate renovation and restoration. Beginning with Rashnu, the divine balancer, not a savage scorer. Rashnu's function is simple and striking. He is the divine weigher who pronounces proportionate outcomes. Texts present Rashnu as the one who reads the record and sets the scale. His role is juridical and measured, rather than arbitrary vengeance. The image of the scales is theological shorthand for Asha, truth and proportional justice, not for cosmic smite. Next, Mithra and Zoroastrianism, witness and escort in the courtroom of the dead. Judgment is a team performance. Mithra stands as the convent witness, the one whose all-seeing aspect guarantees that laws and social bounds are accounted for, while Zoroastrianism, or obedience, escorts and intercedes for the dead, sustaining rites and prayers that can, in many traditions, ameliorate fate. Together with Rashnu, they form a ritual judicial triad: witness, escort, and balance. Then, corrective punishments and graded outcomes. Pedagogy, not perversity. The world of Druj, Demana, and other negative stations is often described with vivid sensory horror, but the texts and later exegetes frequently frame punishments as corrective, educational, and proportional, rather than eternally vindictive. Amistagan and other intermediate states allow for graded outcomes and eventual reintegration in the broader eschatological horizon. Punishment functions to revere and repair moral failure, not merely to damn. This restorative emphasis aligns with Zoroastrian hopes for cosmic healing. Rashnu and the final promise: repair of the world, not only the soul. So, crucially, Zoroastrian eschatology culminates in Rashnu, the final renovation, when evil is purified, the dead are resurrected, and the world is restored to perfect accord with Ahura Mazda. In the final chapter, even those who suffered are reunited in a cosmos that has been cleansed. Justice has a horizon that moves beyond proportion to reconciliation and cosmic repair. It is an eschatology of finishing and demanding rather than eternal exclusion. And lastly, ritual and social function. Why do these doctrines matter to communities? Practically, this juridical eschatological system does civic work. It, first, embeds social responsibility in a powerful moral imagination. Oaths, truth, hospitality have cosmic significance. Second, it supports rituals of purification and intercession that keep communities cohesive. And third, it offers an ultimate hope that suffering and evil will be corrected, which underwrites more effort and social repair. The idea that even cosmic disorder will be finally healed gives ethical action both urgency and meaning. So, if other traditions give you either permanent perdition or baroque banality, Zoroastrianism gives you a measured audit in their cosmic renovation plan. Keep your covenant tidy and your conscience in polite order. The clerks will thank you, and the world will be better for it.